Aries, I need you to listen very carefully. Whatever you're doing right now, if you can, just pause. Because the energy that is converging in your life in January 2026 isn't just a new month. It is a seismic shift. Have you felt it? That strange, heavy silence in your spirit? Or perhaps the opposite, a frantic, burning desire to tear everything down and start over? That is not anxiety. That is your soul recognizing that the old version of your life has officially expired. In this video, we are going deep. We are talking about the exact planetary alignment that hasn't happened in your lifetime, Neptune entering your sign. We are talking about the career explosion you've been denied for 3 years and the karmic relationship cycle that finally ends this month. Stay with me until the very end, because I'm revealing a specific date, January 26th, that will change your identity forever. This is the turning point you cannot ignore. If you try to look away, the universe will only knock louder. Welcome, Aries. You are the first sign of the zodiac, the pioneer, the warrior. But let's be honest, the last few years have felt like you've been a warrior with no war to fight, or worse, a warrior fighting a losing battle against exhaustion. January 2026 is the reset point. Why? Because we are moving out of the heavy, restrictive earth energy of the past few years and into a high-voltage, visionary fire and air frequency. For you, January is the threshold. You are standing between the person you were taught to be and the person you were born to be. Many of you have been living a proxy life, chasing titles, salaries, or relationships because they looked good on paper. But something happened in late 2025 that cracked that mask. Now, in January 2026, the mask falls off. This isn't just about feeling better. This month involves a physical relocation for some of you and a massive financial level up for others. Stay with me because we're going to break down the career and money sectors in just a moment, and there is a specific risk you must avoid. First, let's talk about your mind. Aries, your greatest strength is your courage, but your greatest shadow is your performative strength. You pretend you're okay when you're crumbling. In the first 2 weeks of January, the Moon and Saturn are going to force you into a state of radical honesty. You'll find it physically impossible to lie to yourself anymore. If you hate your job, your body will feel heavy when you wake up. If your relationship is hollow, you will feel a literal distance even when sitting next to them. This is a psychological turning point. You are moving from survival mode to sovereignty mode. In survival mode, you react. In sovereignty mode, you command. This month, you'll experience moments of intense solitude. Don't fear the silence. That silence is where your new ideas are being born. You are shedding a skin that has become too tight. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. Growth is a destructive process. Now, shifting focus to your work and your legacy. For a long time, you've been doing the heavy lifting while others took the credit. Or perhaps you've been stuck in a loop of busyness without progress. January 2026 brings a massive cluster of energy into your 10th house of career. But this isn't the hustle you're used to. This is strategic power. Around January 11th, a door you thought was locked, perhaps a project from 2 years ago or a connection you thought had gone cold, is going to swing wide open. The challenge is that you will be asked to step into a leadership role that feels too big for you. The imposter syndrome will hit hard. But listen to me. The universe doesn't call the ready. It readies the called. If you are offered a seat at a table that intimidates you, take it. But wait, don't sign any contracts until we talk about the Neptune influence later in this video. There is a specific optical illusion happening in your career mid-month that could cost you if you aren't careful. When it comes to money, let's get real. Aries, you've had a complicated relationship with abundance lately. You make it, then it disappears into emergencies. January 2026 is the month you stop being a spender and start being an investor. This is the turning point of your net worth. There is a strong signature of passive income or asset growth here. Some of you will receive a lump sum, an inheritance, a bonus, or a tax win. But the temptation will be to use that money to feel better temporarily. Don't do it. January is about building a foundation. Look into things that grow over time like real estate, long-term stocks, or even investing in a business idea you've been sitting on. However, You must watch out for a friend or colleague who comes to you with a guaranteed win around the 20th. This is the Neptune shadow. If it requires you to act now or lose out, walk away. Your true wealth in 2026 is built on patience, the one thing you usually lack. Let's soften for a moment and talk about the heart. This is where January 2026 gets very emotional. For many Aries, your love life has felt like a lesson rather than a blessing lately. You've been learning about boundaries and what happens when you give 100% to someone who only gives 20%. In January, the North Node is pulling you toward authenticity. If you're in a relationship, you can't hide your needs anymore. You're going to have a midnight conversation, one of those talks that lasts until 3 a.m. It's make or break. But don't fear the break. If a relationship ends in January 2026, it's because it was a cage, not a home. If you're single, you are attracting mirror souls. These are people who reflect back to you exactly how much you love yourself. If you've been self-critical, you'll attract critics. If you've been stepping into your power, you'll attract a power partner. Stay with me because in the next section, we're going to talk about the ghost in your family line that you are finally going to lay to rest. Aries, you are often the black sheep or the strong one in your family. You carry the weight. This January, a specific family pattern, perhaps a cycle of poverty, silence, or anger, is coming to your doorstep for a final resolution. You might feel a sudden surge of resentment toward a parent or an old memory. This is karmic clearing. You aren't being mean. You're being clear. You're deciding that the family curse stops with you. By healing your own relationship with yourself this month, you are healing generations. This is the quietest but most powerful part of the January turning point. When you forgive the past, you stop dragging it into your future. Now we arrive at the big one. On January 26, 2026, Neptune enters your sign. Neptune is the planet of the divine, the mystical, and the infinite. Having it in your sign is like having a direct radio link to the universe. Your intuition is going to explode. But there's a warning here. Neptune can also bring fog. You might feel a bit lost or floaty. This is why you need to stay grounded. Watch for the sign of repeating numbers like 111 or 444. Your dreams this month are literal messages, so keep a notepad by your bed. This is the turning point of your spirit. You are realizing that you aren't just a body trying to win at life. You are a soul having a human experience. When you realize that, fear disappears. Because how can a soul be afraid of a job interview or a breakup? We are coming to the end of our time together, but this is the most important part. Consider what happens if you choose to ignore this turning point. If you choose to stay in the job you hate, stay in the relationship that drains you, and keep quiet when you should speak, the energy will turn inward. It will manifest as burnout, as frustration, or a midlife crisis regardless of your age. The universe will keep making your comfort zone more and more uncomfortable until you are forced to move. But if you embrace it, if you say yes to the unknown, January 2026 becomes the month they write about in your biography. The month you decided to be brave. The month you realized that your wildness isn't a flaw, it's your fuel. Take these practical steps. Write down the one thing you are terrified to change, because that's exactly what needs your attention. Watch the dates January 3rd, 18th, and 26th. Wear white for clarity and red for action. Before you go, let's anchor this. Take a deep breath and repeat this affirmation. I am the fire that clears the path. I trust my vision. I claim my power. I am ready for my new life. Aries, you were born to lead. Stop asking for permission to take the lead in your own life. If this message felt like it was written specifically for you, please give this video a like. It tells the algorithm that this message is important. Comment 2026 is mine to lock in this intention. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join our tribe. We go deep into the stars every single week to make sure you never have to walk this path alone. Check out the next video on your 2026 yearly forecast to see how this January spark turns into a full-blown revolution. I love you, Aries. I believe in you. Now go make it happen.